Hi everyone, my name's Katie Crichton and I'm a Lenovo ISG Public Sector Account Manager, and I'm joined here today by...
So I'm Chris Hodgson, I'm Director of IT and Digital at Stoke College.
I'm Dean McGarry, I'm the IT Infrastructure Manager at Stoke College.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I've got a few questions for you, mainly around AI and how it's reshaping education. How do you feel about that?
So AI is sort of a momentous occasion in education. It's sort of trying to cross many divisions, but also it's sort of popped into public consciousness. So with AI, we're looking a lot at assessment, academic integrity, but also with our students, we don't know what jobs they're going to have in the future. So we've got to find a way of empowering them with all these multiple different tools.
Dean, have you got a view on?
Yeah, it is about the student journey, really. And yes, we have to empower our teachers so they're aware of the technologies, what's out there, what skills to pass over to our students, but there's also a safety aspect of it, how to interact with AI.
Yeah. And do you feel there's a difference when you look at it from a teacher's perspective versus a student's perspective?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, it's reshaping the world irreversibly. And with us, we know it's going to be transformative in education, but there's a lot of hype at the moment, certainly around generative AI and the way that we assess exams and essays coming in. So I think we've seen this many times before with new technology hitting public consciousness. There's the social media boom, going all the way back to bulletin boards. You can go back to old technology, VHS, Betamax, games consoles. It's part of the Gartner hype cycle. And with us, certainly at the college, we've had a lot of the study uplands of AI being used for lots and lots of different things: video, audio, presentations, course materials. But now we've got to try and navigate our way through to say which tools are the ones that we should actually be focusing on, which ones should we be training our staff on, and what's the impact on our students. And I think as well we need to look a lot at sort of a red, amber, green status for the use of AI by students now. So some things are green, some things are acceptable to use. We're talking things like Grammarly sort of adjusting words. Then you've got your amber use case where you might use ChatGPT to give a framework to an essay. And then you've got your red, which is sort of an unacceptable use of AI, which is the generative creating your entire answer. But we've got to find a way of accepting AI as part of our assessment cycle now. And part of that might be to change the design of assessments. But it's certainly got a monumental impact, I think, right across certainly the educational landscape.
Yeah, and I think that's a good segue to talk about the hot topic of academic dishonesty in AI. We have to change assessments and the way assessments are carried out. Otherwise, learners may well use AI tools to cheat or augment their work. And how do we do that, and how do we do it safely without potentially destroying a student's record of saying you cheated when they didn't?
I think, it's how do we attribute the authorship of AI-generated content? So where are the boundaries and who is the content creator? And I think when you're trying to assess a student's ability, you want to assume that they're the creator, you're assessing them. And a lot of students coming through now sort of see AI as just a tool like Google searches were, as many moons ago. So we've got to change the way that we are thinking about AI in further education, because ultimately, certainly at Stoke-on-Trent College, our strategy is skills ready, future ready, and we now need to be digital ready as well. And those skills are what's the most important. We've got to give our students the confidence and our staff the confidence to deploy these tools and to use them.
Yeah, some really insightful points there. I mean, do you use peer collaboration between other further education institutes? Do you find that peer collaboration, you have the same views on AI? Do you?
Yeah, it's a minefield because it's constantly shifting and evolving. What's relevant this week may not be relevant next week. So if we're going to select one tool, is it a competitive advantage or disadvantage to us as an ongoing business in what we teach our students? So if you say, oh, Stoke-on-Trent College teaches in this AI, and other colleges teaches in this particular AI, is that a competitive advantage? That's part of the skill set that combines with our professional and technical skill set. So we do talk to other colleges, certainly in the FE sector. We try and get their perspective, but we're all grappling with the same starting point and the same end goals, but our journeys are all slightly different.
Yeah. I think I understand that, and I think just going back to our relationship with you as a college, I think it's quite an important topic for people to listen to around why did you choose Lenovo as your current technology partner, because we have the relationship both in the data centre and with your end user devices. It'd be good to understand why Lenovo.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from a relationship point of view, we chose Lenovo on-premise infrastructure because it's a well-designed solution provided by our preferred educational technology provider, GTEC. And they provided confirmation through yourselves of VMware licensing being confirmed. It was during the slight storm of a fluid market of Broadcom acquiring VMware. And between GTEC and Lenovo, the solution could be delivered on time and to the right price. But we also know that support was in there as well. So the quality of the kit, the quality of the contract, and its longevity. We have to make this kit last multiple years. So we have to realise that.
And for me, the sustainability piece of it was quite important. The carbon offset on the manufacture, shipping and production of running that environment for 5 years is important to us as a college. We do have to be sustainable in everything we do.
Yeah, we have a really big focus on sustainability at the moment. You know, we're looking at our carbon emissions through our Microsoft 365 environment. So it is now really important to us because we know that using AI tools generates more emissions. So we have to make sure that the stuff that we have on site is as sustainable as possible.
Yeah, and I think going back to the AI conversation, that leads us quite nicely for you, Dean. Do you see there being, in the next 5 to 7 years, a change in your data centre because of AI?
I think there could be, particularly around the data security, data privacy concerns of using public models. We may have to consider running some form of AI model on premise. Not sure what that'll be structured, but we can do that on our current platform thanks to using technology such as Intel AMX. We can do proof of concept to maybe justify getting a proper AI workload.
Yeah, and I think looking at that as well, if we look at the flip side, Chris has raised quite a lot of problems that AI could potentially pose to you as a college. Do you feel that there's anything that AI could help you with potentially in the future? So having AI deployed somewhere on campus doing a job, do you think that there's anything that could possibly help there?
I think yes is the easy answer to that. There's a lot of areas AI could help in the business support side, but particularly focusing on learners and the academic staff. There are use cases to use AI, whether that's on-premise or in the cloud, is depending what tools we pick. But I think we have to start thinking of AI as more of a utility than a product. It's like electricity. We're going to have to use it in some way. How are we going to use it?
Yeah, and I think as well, we do use AI in certain of the business operations, so through our cyber security, and we've got modelling engines there looking for anomalous behaviour across user activity. So there is a force for good, and I think a lot of our academics have found that it speeds them up, it saves a lot of time. But of course, once you've created it, you then have to check in to say, well, is it factually correct? You have to check your references. But it speeds up that sort of initial creation, if you like, of material.
Yeah, thank you very much for all of your insights as well. I think it's really important that we spoke about these things because I don't think it is spoken about enough in education, particularly further education. I think when you look at it, we've spoken about it quite a bit today already, is that AI is a bit of a buzzword in higher education because they're building models, they're designing things. It trickles downstream, doesn't it, for you guys, and essentially it puts a decision squarely on your shoulders, really, as an institution.
Yeah, I mean, we need to adopt AI quick enough to realise the power and the potential of it, but we can't compromise the organisation and the learners within it. So AI has a potential to create a slight digital divide between the haves and the have-nots, a bit like it might ripple through society as to where AI is being used. But colleges, initially in about 2022, 23, a slight knee-jerk reaction to AI. You know, we're all very much about content filtering and what we should and shouldn't allow access to. But of course, we quite quickly decided that we should allow it, or we should realise the benefit from it. But we have to be mindful that we can't compromise our operations, if you like.
So to further that a bit, there was a knee-jerk reaction in a lot of educational institutions to block AI, particularly ChatGPT at the time. We've had a few discussions on it about how that can create a new digital divide, because the more affluent students can go home and use these tools. We live in a low economic wealth area, low digital wealth area, where students might not have the technology at home to use the tools.
Yeah. So I suppose that then falls on Stoke-on-Trent's shoulders to kind of bridge that divide and give access to those students at select points, I suppose. So it's almost like a push for you guys.
Yeah, I think we're looking at ways that we can put more digital tools in the hands of students, both inside and outside the college. So that's just for us. I think one of the things that we do think a lot about during this adoption of AI is training our students a bit about the bias that it might introduce. So of course AI tends to be trained on what it knows. Particularly within the college, we do some training on unconscious bias. So we have to think about the sort of inclusion and the bias to let our students know to question the information that's being displayed. And we have no way of ensuring that the data that AI is being trained on is free of bias. So, you know, we have to remember, there's a quote from Captain John Price. This is for the record: history is written by the victor. History is filled with liars, and if he lives and we die, the truths become written and ours is lost. So if some, an AI model is being trained on what it knows of history that was written down, what about the history that wasn't written down? And therefore you're going to end up with a very, very biased view of the world going forward as it trains itself over and over again on the same repetitive data.
Yeah, I think that's really important to remember as well. Thank you very much though, everybody, and thank you for joining us, and thank you Chris, thank you Dean. I really appreciate you coming down here today all the way from Stoke-on-Trent to come and join us at BET to record this, but thank you, I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lenovo.